Hey everyone, this is the 11th episode of my podcast. We are officially in double digits. We're officially over 10 episodes, which is probably a great achievement for any podcast. I've heard the thing that if you achieve your 7 or 10 episodes, you're like over 90% of people who started their own podcasts. So it seems like we're in a good spot here. As you can see, there are no guests today. It's only me. The next one will be with my friend from the film industry. He is quite a famous person here, and he's gonna share a lot. But for now, I want to dedicate this episode to basically what I do with other people, but kind of interviewing myself with the kind of similar questions about my path, about my startup, how did I go, how did I get where I am now, and I'm sure it's going to be interesting for you. To make it a little bit more fun, I will split probably this episode into several ones. Today, I want to talk about my latest startup, Narada. Uh, and maybe in the future episodes, I can give you more updates or some insights, or I might dive deep into some specific points that I haven't talked about, or I can talk about my previous podcast, my kind of path, how I got here where I am. But today I'm going to focus on Narada. So, how did I get here? How did I, along with my co-founder, started Narada? So first of all, it was 2022. Uh, it was like a very active phase of war in Ukraine, and I was in Ukraine. It was like month maybe 4 or 5 of full-scale war, but it not only did not stop me and my partners from working on different projects, uh, we basically continued working on my previous startup. 1 month after the war, we kind of got together. We said, hey, this thing shouldn't stop us. Let's continue working. Eventually, that startup failed. My team and I have kind of part ways in some sense. We had some arguments, which I can cover in the future episodes. But maybe in July 2022, my co-founder Ilya and I, we decided to start a new venture. Ilya, he's based in Germany. I am based in Ukraine. And at some point we were like, hey, let's start this thing. Let's make it a real startup. Let's not just play, be in this playground mode. Let's get real. Let's get to customers. Let's build the product. Let's learn all that, and let's see where it's gonna get us. Uh, we started with the ideas, and we had some exposure and like great advisors in the past who helped us shape the vision of how to build a startup. So we knew that uh, we want to start with a problem, not with a solution. So we started looking for problems to solve, and I think I watched the Y Combinator's YouTube video where they explain where to look for startup ideas. And one of the suggestions was look at your full-time job and look at the problems you have there. So both my partner and I realized that meetings aren't perfect at our companies. Some time wastages are there, and there's a lot of improvement that could be brought to the companies. So we were like, hey, meetings are long, they're unproductive. Let's build a product that can solve this. So we have our problem. We kind of sketched the solution, how we want to do that. We decided to focus on Google Meet platform, which is like Zoom, but made by Google. Many companies use it. Let's build a plugin for Google Meet that will help teams to put the topics of the meeting, so a meeting agenda, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, an estimated time, and a timer for each topic so that people are more aware about the time and they kind of use it better, and with that the meetings become more productive. So that was our first hypothesis. Even then, I was like, hey, this might not gonna work out, but we're gonna push through, we're gonna pivot, we're gonna learn. So I was aware that this thing might not work out, but we were excited. We were like, bought a domain, we built our website, we hired a contractor who built the first iteration of the product, we sketched the product, we created a logo, we went to first potential customers, we talked to them, we got a lot of feedback, and maybe in September or October we released our first iteration of the product. And it was awesome. It felt like I haven't felt anything like that before, because you build your own thing and it's working. And it was like, wow, what are we doing here? We're changing the world. So we went to the customers, we tried to interview them, to give them the product, and no one understood why do they even need the product. We continued talking to many product managers, to like founders of startups, and at some point we realized, hey, meetings are the problem. Yes, that's a real problem. But our product doesn't really solve any of that. It might be useful for like product or project managers for like structuring their meetings, but they can already do that in other tools like Notion or Google Docs, or even in Google Calendar, there is an option to do that. Nevertheless, we listened to our customers and they said, hey, if you want to make it better, why don't you put a note taking capability into the product so that I can take notes directly in Google Meet and then follow up directly from Google? And we were like, yeah, probably that's a way to go. Honestly, for me, I kind of realized that, hey, we're kind of pivoting away from the original problem we were trying to solve. We're kind of just doing what people are saying us. It didn't feel 100% well, but I was like, hey, people want it, let's just build it. So we actually built it. 4 months, our contractor and we were building this product. We realized that we made some mistakes in terms of how to build the product, how to hire people, how to make sure it's gonna be fast and whatnot. We spent quite a substantial money that we invested ourselves, and it's not like tens of thousands of dollars, it's less than that, but still it was a pretty big buck for us at the time, because it's all our personal finances. Some of them went from like the startup programs, not accelerators, but programs that gave us very small budget. We kind of used that money a little bit, but most of that was our money. In the meantime, we were participating in another program where we were potentially could get the grant total of $9,000. Uh, there were 3 teams, including us, trying to get that money. Eventually, we won the first place. We won it. It was exciting, but it was a little bit later. So we built the product. We went to the users, and they were still like, "Huh? Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's neat, but it isn't the pain that I really want to solve." Nevertheless, we started really selling the product. And I'm skipping a lot. I'm just giving an overview. I can go into the details later. But we got our first customers. We got like $30-$40 in monthly recurring revenue. But people didn't really stick to the product. They didn't really use it. Um, and eventually, most of them have churned. So we lost most of the customers, and there were not a lot, but we got a lot of feedback, and we were like, okay, we were listening to the customers. We were kind of trying to build what they're saying. And they kept saying, hey, why don't you build an AI transcription tool? Because it is something that I really need. It's solving a real problem. I'm going to pay for it. But what we've seen is that everyone was building those tools, and the competitor landscape was enormous. Many people, like in the startup world, were saying, no, guys, don't go that route. You're just copying another product. It's gonna be very hard to try to differentiate yourself if you build that tool. And we were like, yeah, it's kind of not what we wanted to do in the first place, because again, it is a meeting related problem we are solving, but it's not the time related problem that we were seeing at our companies. So at some point we realized, hey, have you heard about this AI trend, artificial intelligence? And I was like, it clicked for me. AI plus the problem we're solving, it potentially can solve this problem. So there is a problem when people go into the details during meeting. They take like dozens of minutes of talking about some unimportant details, and people cannot interrupt them, and meetings kind of drag on. Time is wasted. What if there was an AI that could identify that problem, the unproductive conversations, in real time and send private alerts to the people at fault who are doing that? And maybe that is going to nudge them to go back, or to let some participants go if they're not needed, or just get back on track, use their time more efficiently, and reward a positive change. So it's like a real time help in terms of meetings. Um, and we were like, wow, that's exactly what we want to build, because it's the original problem. It's an exciting solution, because personally we not like we love AI. We love the ChatGPT, DALI, generative AI, LLMs. It is so exciting, and it's like developing in a rapid pace, which allows us to potentially not only bring this value I'm talking about, but make it better, better, and better, to the point where we're saving like tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to companies, just because we're saving them of time. And people were kept saying, hey, this is a real problem, and no one is telling how do you solve that. And one of the common solutions is to just hire people who can moderate meetings, uh, meeting uh, meeting facilitators, moderators, scrum masters, project managers who are very skilled in terms of meetings. But yeah, it's a tough thing. We were talking to companies; they're not really excited about hiring additional staff, especially during recession, shortages of finances. People are not going to invest. They are aware of the problem. They're trying to solve it, but it's just out of their budget to try to really invest in it. And we were like, hey, why don't we create a tool that costs just $10 per user per month, that is gonna act like a meeting facilitator? It's gonna say, hey, let's discuss it on a separate meeting, on a one-on-one. Hey, you're talking a lot. Let's kind of stop here. Let's continue. Hey, these people are not needed anymore. Let's let them go. And show how much time and money we're saving to them. And yeah, we maybe a month ago, month and a half ago, started talking to companies. We understood that, we realized that the bigger the company, the bigger the problem with meetings, you can see. And we went to those companies. We were starting to interview them, pitch this solution, and they were like, not all of them, but many of them were like, wow, that's an interesting tool. I haven't really heard about it. Let's try to onboard, and let's try to see if it's gonna help us or not. This is a type of feedback we haven't heard at all during the last year. We were always, hey, I don't understand this tool. Why do I need it? What is going on here? And now they're like, oh, that makes sense. I'm not sure if this tool is really that good as you're talking about it, but let's try to use it. And now, at the moment, we don't even have this tool yet. We're actively developing it, thanks to our amazing developers and freelancers. Uh, all of them are freelancers, developers, designers, artists who help us to build this tool. We're gonna launch it in 2 weeks from today, from the day I'm recording this episode. And the first iteration is not gonna have even AI. It's gonna be much more simple. It's gonna be an MVP, but it's gonna bring that value that I'm talking about by saying stop, saying hey, let's look at the time. Let's really think about the time. Let's respect everyone here, and let's try not to talk about the topic for 20 minutes if you can discuss it in 2 minutes. The way it's gonna work is it's gonna be based on meeting agenda. So for example, you have 4 topics for each of them 5 minutes, and it's if you took like 10 minutes for a 5-minute topic, it's gonna say, hey, let's either stop and let's either rethink what we're doing here, and let's kind of change the pace on the fly. Or if there is no meeting agenda, it's going to do the same. Hey, this meeting should take, it's scheduled for 30 minutes. It's already been 25. Have you discussed everything you wanted? If not, let's go back there. If you keep talking, it's been 45 minutes. We're gonna, hey, stop. It was scheduled just for 30 minutes. Let's really think about it. And we're sure that this is not the value that we're bringing with AI meeting facilitator, but it's still gonna be a really cool thing that kind of has the first kind of functionality of the future facilitator, and we're gonna get a lot of feedback with this tool. So that's what we are focusing on right now. We're building this product. We're gonna launch it. We're hopefully gonna get our first sales with these big companies, which will put our MRR a little bit higher. And yeah, it's all really exciting. The momentum that we are gaining, we feel it. We feel that, hey, people are like it. We are kind of finding our sales funnel. People are getting to demos. People want to help. People want to try the product. The feedback is much better. People saying, "Wow, that's the product I really need here," and yeah, definitely a lot of hurdles in the future that we're still gonna see for sure, but the progress we're having is enormous. We learned so much things that many other, even competitors, they might not understand the things that we know, because we talked to so many people, we got so many feedback, we know so many insights about the meetings, and that's really cool. And the way we did that, we failed, we learned, we kept going, and we feel this amazing progress. So, and it's really the same thing about self-improvement of an individual. You want to be better at something, you fail, you learn, you try new things to be better at it, you do it for a year or 10 years, and you become the best in the industry. Same for startups. You just become better, you try to improve. But the problem with startups is you have that budget constraint, you operate with finances, with real people who are you hiring. You kind of have to be aware of the time you have left. It's a lot of stress. You have maybe some legal issues. You might have a lot of different problems when you're running the business. So it's much harder. And we haven't even felt those problems yet because we're still operating part-time. We do not have full-time employees. We invest our own finances. Luckily, we have a grant that helped us stay on a board for the time being. But yeah, it's tough. And the thing is, you have to be able to um, keep this mental energy, physical energy, make sure that you're not burning out, that you're still feeling great building the company, that you're still enjoying it. It's all very important. And just talking to potential customers, talking to people, not being afraid of the negative feedback, it's so amazing. And just be open minded. Don't be afraid of failing. Don't be afraid of like trying new things that are not necessarily working. Or one example might be not be afraid of just spamming to people sometimes and learning that you shouldn't spam to people. Not be afraid of posting 3 months of useless content every day and realizing that nobody needs that. It's just a part of the journey, and you have to do that to become better. So, uh, and it's exciting. I'm really curious where it's gonna get us in a year or even half a year. Uh, I think it's gonna be my episode of 60 or something, and I'm gonna talk about that. Um, I think I'm gonna leave it somewhere here. I'll let you guys uh, say in the comments what are you want me to dive deeper into. Maybe the arguments with my team, how we split away, how we split apart. Maybe you want to talk about the accelerator programs, how we get our grant, how did we build the product, how did we hire freelancers, how did we create our logo, how we built the website. All that I can cover. Just leave the questions in the comments, and I'm sure it's gonna be great. But yeah, for now, this is where we are. The link to our startup is in the comments, sorry, in the description. Don't forget to like this video. It helps tremendously with the algorithm, with the reach. Share this with your friends or partners or your network. It's going to help me tremendously, and it's hopefully going to help other people as well. So, yeah, hope it's a great episode. The next episode will be with a guest, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, guys. See you later.